Ralph, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Game time coming up 5 o'clock. Delayed start 5 o'clock Eastern. Good afternoon and welcome live from Fort Lee High School, the home of the Bridgemen. This afternoon on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel, it's Fort Lee Bridgemen Girls Volleyball. The Bridgemen in at 6-3, 4-0 in the Big North American Division. They play a crossover game against the Bergenfield Bears, coming in 3-3 overall, 1-2 in the Big North National. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Ralph Bednarchik. We apologize for the late start for this one. Bergenfield having bus issues and traffic issues getting over here for a match that was originally scheduled to start at 4:15, but Bergenfield has eventually arrived, and we'll see how they will handle perhaps the abbreviated warm-up compared to usual. Time now for the starters. First for the Bergenfield Bears and the third-year coach Linda Chu. She will not have her starting center Deanna Miano today, so senior Ashley Museb will make her first career start. She's joined by Taylor Liriano, a senior on the outside, a two-year starter, and sophomore Mia Gonzalez, third-team All-Group 2 in the springtime as a freshman. And Gonzalez on her way to a terrific high school career. Maria Perricone, a sophomore middle blocker, joined by Tinia Thomas inside as the other middle, and senior Lila Hamilton in her fourth year in the varsity, and a co-captain is the starting right side hitter. Sophomore libero is a terrific one, Isabella Melendez, a two-year starter, second-team All-Division in the spring. For John Giamba in his 27th season coaching Fort Lee, Luciana Casali, senior center, is the starter with Tori Goris, a junior on the outside, and Casey Ryu, a senior on the outside. The middle blockers, junior Sophia Pagan, a two-year starter, and Alexa Conti, a junior. She will start her second career game. She started also against Englewood. She's the other middle. Freshman Catherine Borisov is now moved to the right side for this match. Borisov is a lefty and just a freshman. The libero is Nicole Nuchirwani, a senior and a co-captain in her first year starting at the position for the Fort Lee Bridgemen. Fort Lee will be on the left on your screen for this first set. Bergenfield on the right, both teams wearing their road uniforms in this case, so black on black. With the up official, Howie Clark, doing the honors, and Ben Jones, our down official. Two teams met back on April 1st at Bergenfield, and it went the distance. It was a three-setter, narrowly squeezed out by Fort Lee, 25-23. So we'll see how Bergenfield, though, will handle things without their starting center today in Miano. And they were already looking for consistency to try to get the offense flowing at a nice level. So Ashley Museb will have the opportunity, and can Bergenfield, led by Isabella Melendez, pass the ball and make Museb's job easy. So Bergenfield will serve from right to left. Museb will get us started. And Museb will drive it deep. Uchirwani handled the first ball. Free ball across by Borisov. So Museb will set to the outside, and the first swing, and that is a kill into the corner. Taylor Liriano, and it is 1-0. Liriano, 4 kills against Dwight Morrow, and a two-year starter on the outside for the Bears. Museb again targeting Nuchirwani. Free ball again. So the first pass, not a good one either time. Swing over the top by Hamilton. Casal, and she will look to dump and just plays it into the deep corner. And no one communicated for Bergenfield, and we are even at 1. Bergenfield out of the Big North National Division. It is a great division. For Coach Linda Chu, they have made some real strides as a program, even going back before Linda, about the last 5-6 years, where they've pushed towards 10 overall wins. Struggled in division, though, against some real North Jersey and really state powers. Casal, Conti, and Alexa Conti with the kill. Conti did not play at all in the spring of 2021. And this is just her second career match, really getting some time. And that has allowed Tori Goris to move to the outside. And here is an ace, and it's the first one of the match for Fort Lee. 3-1 Fort Lee as Nicole Coelho, senior DS, and a co-captain. And she drives Mia Gonzalez deep, and this one wide of the antenna. nothing Hamilton can do. Well, expect Mia Gonzalez to be targeted all season and, frankly, for the rest of her career. Just a sophomore, but third-team All-Group 2 in the state. This is a tough handle for Melendez as it came off the basketball backboard above. And then a free ball over by Hamilton, and it is another ace. So 3 straight for Nicole Nucirwani. This time, the target was Liriano. Liriano able to touch it over. And no one goes after the second ball for Fort Lee. So that takes Nucirwani serving to an end. And 5-2 Fort Lee. Bergenfield will bring in Caitlin LeCap, the most reliable server for Linda Chu. Nucirwani, that was a good serve that was angled outside. Free ball given up. Gonzalez with a swing. Nucirwani handles. Casal outside. First swing for Casey Ryu, who leads Fort Lee on the outside. 7 kills against Mawa, her top match this season. And from the back row, Coelho giving up the free ball. An overpass with Museb to organize, and Hamilton was not expecting that set. So Fort Lee takes advantage of the hitting error, and at 6-2, they're talking to 27th-year head coach John Giemba. He knew his offense would be fine, but they did have to replace an outstanding setter who had a terrific senior year in Yixi Huang, first team All-American division, second team in the state All-Group 2. So how far as it'll be an ace for the Bridgemen, and that's already their 4th in this opening set. That one came from Alexa Conti. But how well can they connect from Casal and to the array of hitters that she has? This is Pagan down the middle. Sophia Pagan leads the team in kills, came in with 15, and that's her first swing. And it is 8-2 Fort Lee. And Pagan, just a junior, as Conti misses the back line. And Pagan in particular dealt with injury in the spring, but came back at the tail end of the spring season for the state tournament. Fort Lee, they're the defending North 2 Group 2 champions. And the program's first sectional title of any kind since 1986. Good serve from Isabella Melendez. First ace for Bergenfield. Well, Melendez, along with Mia Gonzalez, they both play for the Pinnacle Volleyball Club that Linda Chu is a coach at. And, of course, that is so significant in this sport to have club players, as Melendez will go up, now get a friendly roll off tape, 8-5. And Melendez, like Mia Gonzalez, both want to play college volleyball. And Melendez targeting Nucirwani. Casal on the second ball gives up a freebie. But then no one goes after the second ball for Bergenfield. So Fort Lee by 3, they go back to Catherine Borisov. Melendez perfect on the first pass. Hamilton. Casal, Pagan, and the solo block inside. Maria Perricone. She's the silent killer for the Bears. 4 kills at Patterson Eastside in the early season, and she has found a spot as a sophomore middle. Coelho, it's an overpass. And Coelho got on the second ball. Another swing from Perricone. Museb. Mia Gonzalez, and that's her best swing. So Gonzalez, having been kind of the breakout star in the division last spring, She almost had 100 kills. 4 times she went for double figures, including a 10-kill performance last year against Fort Lee. Ryu did not swing, didn't get her elbow high enough. And off the bench, Jalen Martinez, defensive specialist, in to serve for Bergenfield. Museb, as she set the middle, decent swing from Perricone. Now it's transitioned, and the swing came from Pagan. Gonzalez, and she beats the one-on-one. That's the connection Bergenfield is looking for Linda Chu. It's offensive consistency is their area of improvement. And when you're breaking in a new setter, and today you have a new starting setter, but she's seen her team has the tools. If they put it all together, they can play and compete with the top teams that are in the Big North National. As here is an ace now for Bergenfield, and the Bears grab the lead. The teams here in the Big North National, it starts with Tenafly, who's preseason number 4. Now, Tenafly has struggled in the early season, but Jeff Kohler is the reigning NJ.com Coach of the Year in the state. Nice serve came, but it'll be an overpass that Perricone puts into the net. And then there's Demarest, who is preseason number 10 in the state, both in the same division. Not to mention Old Tapan, who has also been very strong in volleyball. I would imagine if there was a top 30 in the state, Old Tapan would probably be there. Ryu, good serve. Caitlin LeCap has to give up the free ball. Casal tried to dump. It did come over. Pagan, and Pagan was trying to set on the outside. So that's the ball control error, and the Bridgemen give up the point, and it's 11-10. So Bergenfield has settled into this match. Anytime a team can arrive a little later than expected, it can throw things off. But they have not shown signs of that. And that is a difficult ball, but played well by Taylor Luriano. Then Pagan. Did Pagan get a touch? John Giemba saying that there was a touch. And the up official, Howie Clark, disagreed. So Bergenfield by 2. Ryu targeted by Gonzalez. And this is an overpass of the set. Double contact called against Bergenfield. So Nicole Nuchirwani. Fort Lee already with 4 aces. That allowed them to build an early 8-2 lead. And Nuchirwani already now with 3 of her own. Gonzalez being driven deep, and more good serving from Nuchirwani. And Gonzalez didn't move her feet and had to play it to the side. As we see what Fort Lee has in their back row. Again, Gonzalez, she's the one targeted. And the tip doesn't go for Maria Perricone. Conti was there anyway. So yet another ace. And Fort Lee back in front. That's Melendez handling it well, passing the test. Perricone over the top. And Fort Lee has to give up the free ball. Museb, Perricone in the middle. Well, if Bergenfield can get anything established out of the middle, what a different team they might be in the bigger overall picture. Both Perricone and Tania Thomas are first-year starters. Thomas has some height at the net, And they're both asking for a lot of feedback. Perricone is so far very aggressive at the net, and that has played out. Conti can only tip with the left. Hamilton, and the shot missed. Rather, Liriano. So Fort Lee by 2 in this opening set. Fort Lee 4-0 out of the big North American division. And they have clobbered teams so far in league. John Giemba has some pretty good crossover games scheduled. I mentioned Tenafly. Tenafly defending sectional champions in Group 3. They upended Northern Highlands in the spring. As Casal drops a very fine serve. Luciana Casal, that one had tremendous dipping action into a difficult part of the floor to cover, even for someone like Bella Melendez. That's a perfect pass by Gonzalez, but it just went over. Timeout for Bergenfield. So Linda Chu to talk about it. 17-13 opening set after Fort Lee had grabbed an early 8-2 lead. The Bears led by 2 on a couple of occasions, including at 12-10. And now here is the run of 7-1 Fort Lee. Mentioning that Fort Lee schedule, Tenafly is coming up at home here October the 6th. Again, preseason number 4, but Tenafly, I think, is off to a 1-3 start under Jeff Kohler. And Jeff Kohler, one of the iconic coaches in North Jersey. His daughter, Megan Kohler, is his setter. She's a junior. They're the reigning North 2 Group 3 section champs. After defeating Northern Highlands, they did graduate Zuzana Buchnizer, an outside hitter, so they're going through a bit of the growing pains as well. Casal, this time Melendez, perfect on the pass. However, a free ball from the back by Melendez. Pass tight to the net, popped over by Thomas. Conti, off hands. And they will say no touch. It appeared from my perspective there could have been on the swing by Conti. And John Giemba upset, I think, with the call of the ball going out, too. So here's Ashley Museb, known as a very good server when Deanna Miano is healthy and going. Miano away from the team today with illness, as we have a double contact called against Bergenfield. Fort Lee's serving has been a story, and here's Nicole Coelho. Good ball angled against Liriano. Ryu gives up the freebie. Museb, here comes Liriano, good swing. No block went up against Taylor Liriano. So Bergenfield will go to Caitlin LeCap and look for their own serving run at 18-15 Fort Lee. Ryu, perfect. And however, Ryu is not expecting the set outside from Casal, which was a good one. Timeout, John Giemba to regroup his team. The pass was perfect, set was good, and that's a correctable error, the communication. That could have led to a good swing for senior Casey Ryu. So 18-16 Fort Lee. Fort Lee with a notable victory against Cliffside Park on Wednesday. 2-0 in that sweep. And Cliffside Park was 6-1 going into that game. And then last Saturday, Fort Lee had a tri-match against both Emerson and Rutherford, where they lost both of them. Tri-matches, you just play one set in a tournament. And the other notable result early for Fort Lee is Mahwah. And Mahwah is such a big school and typically always good in sports. September 13th, Fort Lee a 3-set victory. As there's a service error by Bergenfield and Caitlin LeCap. Conti targets Melendez. Tip from the middle for Lila Hamilton. Gonzalez. This time Pagan was there for the block. Only got a piece of it. But that time Fort Lee was ready for it. And the difference many times with the club players is they're used to swinging against blocks and, of course, faster tempoed balls. And Gonzalez that time saw a very good high school middle in front of her and still adjusted. Gonzalez, this time the block of Pagan, and it's out. So Gonzalez with consecutive kills, and Bergenfield climbs within one. So it's Isabella Melendez to continue. And Borisov not clean on the first touch. And as this ball went over, it hit the ceiling before crossing over, or as it crossed over. That's an automatic point for the opposition. 19 all. Had the ball stayed on the Fort Lee side, it would have been deemed playable. Borisov targeted again. Gonzalez swings around the block of Pagan. Ryu, this time much better in system, and got it. So Casal and Ryu were able to get on the same page that time. And Fort Lee back in front. So Catherine Borisov, she's the lone Bridgman that plays club volleyball. And only a freshman. John Ziemba has big hopes for her. Coelho with the diving dig. It was an overpass. Down the line went Hamilton. Museb organizes, tip by Gonzalez. Tight to the net, handled well by Ryu. This time out of the middle, and Perricone, I think, was not expecting the set. So Fort Lee wins a long rally. And Borisov drops in a nice set on Caitlin LeCap. Free balled over, shot back across by Gonzalez on the first contact. This one over by, as Perricone handled. Now regrouped and organized, Casal on the swing from Pagan. A joust at the front, and Perricone will win it. Just a little redirection for Maria Perricone. And Fort Lee, their lead just one. So it'll be Jalen Martinez deep. A defensive specialist. And she ties this opening set with an ace. Third ace for Bergenfield. So she dropped one in front of Kathleen Murtaugh, a junior that came in to play back row. Martinez to continue. Jalen is a senior. And this one is back for an error. Remarkably, the first service error from either side in this opening set. So Casey Ryu targets Melendez. And double contact will be the call against Ashley Museb. Linda Chu working with her setters. And Coach Chu played at NYU at a Riverdale High School. And she was a collegiate setter at a very competitive program in NYU that has been a Division III national finalist. Coach Chu still played a very long time both on the beach and indoor after graduation. and while working in the financial sector in the city. And she's coached club volleyball through the Pinnacle volleyball program and through the Diggs volleyball program prior to that. And then middle school volleyball in Old Tappan. The Chu family, you might say, something of the first family of volleyball. And they are volleyball royalty in Old Tappan. With her niece, Lizzie Chu, outstanding libero at Stevens Tech, played at Old Tappan. And then Coach Chu's daughters, Becky Chu at Trinity College in Connecticut, and the NESCAC, Chrissy Chu, also the NESCAC at Bates. And the oldest daughter, Allison Chu, also playing at Old Tappan, played a couple years at Mount Holyoke. Perricone out of the middle, and Borisov may not have needed to play that. So Perricone delivers the kill, 23-22. And it'll be Mia Gonzalez. And it results in a free ball. Chance to tie for Bergenfield. Perricone. And that's 4 contacts. And again, Maria Perricone, just a sophomore. There are 3 sophomores starting for Bergenfield that Linda Chu is investing in. Nucherwani, set point for Fort Lee. That's it for the first set. The swing outside for Liriano. Good set, she just wasn't able to get on top of the ball. 25-22. So Fort Lee, after the early lead, they gained it back in the middle of the opening set and are able to pull away and just play a little cleaner than Bergenfield. So the Bridgemen thrilled with that. It was their serving 7 aces in the opening set for Fort Lee. That was a real story, particularly early on, via Nicole Nucherwani. For Bergenfield, they enter at 3-3. They picked up a victory yesterday against Teaneck to snap a 3-match losing streak. And this year, again, the league that Bergenfield plays in the Big North National, Tenafly, Northern Valley Demers, 2 teams ranked in the top 10 in the preseason. Always very difficult, and you're playing those teams twice. But as Linda Chu has looked to build this up, and previous head coach Will Yeager, who was able to lift Bergenfield into a spot where they're competing a lot better. They're winning games outside of their division and able to get themselves into a couple of state sectional tournaments. And this year, for example, against Pascack Valley just on Wednesday, Bergenfield had a 10-point lead in that first set against Pascack Valley before ending up losing it, ending up scoring in the 20s against Demarest too. So they're getting there. And despite this being a very young team, a lot of first-year starters in addition to the sophomore core that Bergenfield has. And Linda Chu talked about in the bigger picture, spring of 2021, they took a set against Old Tappan, and even in Summer League, and Summer League doesn't mean a whole lot. It depends on who can be there and who's not there. But those are the little things that show progression for any kind of program, that you're competing against the very top and you're believing that you can get there. And the Bears, you look at their next 4 matches against Old Tappan, and then Paramus Catholic, a good non-public, and then Demarest, and then Tenafly back-to-back. So that is truly the gauntlet that Bergenfield is going through. In the springtime, Bergenfield finished 7-9 overall, but 2-7 in the Big North National. And they reached the North 2 Group 2 quarterfinals, losing a tough third set to Hackettstown. Hackettstown eventually won and reached the North 2 Group 2 final. And they were supposed to play Fort Lee, but due to virus issues, Hackettstown had to forfeit. And that's how Fort Lee captured their first sectional championship since 1986. Otherwise, Bergenfield and Fort Lee could have seen each other in the state tournament. Had Bergenfield won that, there would have been an opportunity. This year, both programs have bumped up in classification. They're now in North 1 Group 3. That's like a Northern Highlands section, as Lila Hamilton with the hitting error, and set 2 is underway, 1-0 Fort Lee. Coelho. Free ball over by Museb. Conti. Double contact on Museb for the second time. And that is just the subtlety of playing the setter position, where trained setters, the more experience in ball touches they get, the less that call is going to happen. And of course, it comes from having better passes where the setter doesn't have to contort their body and handle difficult balls. Caitlin LeCap, 2-1 Fort Lee. Casal for Borisov as she went cross court. A free ball off tape coming from Hamilton. And LeCap may have stepped in front of Melendez. And that disrupted the flow. 3-1 Fort Lee. So Alexa Conti. Again, targeted Gonzalez. That ball came off the ceiling, and then eventually the out-of-system swing for Hamilton is out, and it's 4-1. Conti, and again, Gonzalez, this time perfect. Out of the middle, Lila Hamilton. A joust at the front. And eventually won as Bergenfield with Tania Thomas front row. You can see the impact that 12 in black makes. Thomas probably 5'10". So it will be as Isabella Melendez. Tough serve handled by Coelho. It's an overpass. Ryu out of the reach of Bella Melendez. So Kesa Ryu extends back to 3. Bergenfield graduated 3 seniors that won awards, including their setter, Ruth Malinay, was second team national division. That Mia Gonzalez benefited so much from, to have an experienced setter and a senior when she was a freshman. And then honorable mention, national division players Alyssa Suba and Peyton Diaz. Gonzalez over the block, and Borisov. She had that ball in her range, but could not keep it up. 5-3. So it's Jalen Martinez. Gonzalez, difficult angle, and she's able to get some help from the tape. So not easy at all for Mia Gonzalez to handle a tough set. But Gonzalez already showing as a sophomore that she has the strength that will eventually transition well to college, as that is certainly her goal and well within reach Double contact for the first time against Luciana Casal. Five all. Second set. Murtaugh, that was an overpass. And Musab in the middle, and Perricone. Again, not expecting it, and did not attack the ball at a high enough point. Melendez, again perfect. This time on the right side, Gonzalez. So Mia Gonzalez able to deliver. Linda Chu already appreciating at this early stage for Mia how she has good court awareness. Of course, the club scene helps so much, but she sees spots, goes for spots. And how she handles serve receive if there's an error from Mia Gonzalez, the second for Bergenfield. But how she will handle serve receive, of course, will be of great significance as more and more teams start to notice who to go after and to challenge Gonzalez as she gets later in her career. Nuchirwani, and that's the first service error for Fort Lee. And there, Liriano was expecting the ball further outside and tips into the net. 8-7 Fort Lee. Bergenfield as a program has never won a league championship. Their state tournament appearances in the springtime, though the furthest they've ever gone, reaching the North 2 Group 2 quarters. They had previously gone in 2016 and losing a tough three-setter to Northern Highlands that year. So there's been some moments, and they're certainly trying to change the culture of thinking about winning and believing in winning and what that takes in the bigger picture to do. Bergenfield does participate in a July Summer League. That's a Bogota League in the month of July, two matches a week. There's also a good Ridgewood League that did not play this summer. Fort Lee does not yet participate in the Summer League. They go together with open gyms for John Ziemba. And there on the outside is Catherine Borisov. She's a natural lefty, and she's able to swing from there for the kill. And that month, that Summer League is so vital, where you have players ready to go August 16th when you get together for preseason. Service error for Nicole Coelho, and we're even at 9, second set. And Nuchirwani, and the pass drifted too tight to the net for Casal. So it's an ace, the third, make it the fourth for Bergenfield. LeCap, another good one. And Casal was able to get it over for a pass for Ryu. And Ryu, that set drifted too far out. Hamilton handled it well. This time, out of system, Gonzalez terminates. So there were opportunities there for both teams to finish that rally. Bergenfield with Gonzalez taking matters into her own hands. Ryu, much better in system, but the ball did land, or did it? Up official Howie Clark asking the lines girl Well, the up official, Howie Clark, is actually going to get up. I've never seen this. And they're going to make a change of the lines girl. So I've never seen that, but in high school girls volleyball, you typically have a JV player from each team do the lines, and the up and down officials, they are the, quote, professionals. So the ball was considered out. It's 12-9 Bergenfield, and then Conti with a hitting error. Largest lead now for Bergenfield, and here's a timeout for John Ziemba. So Bergenfield riding the serving of Caitlin LeCap, looking to even this matchup at 1 set apiece. So meanwhile, for John Ziemba, in his 27th year as the head coach, congratulations to Coach. He was the Spring Big North American Division Coach of the Year after the Bridgemen went 5-2 in league, and then captured the 2 seed for the North 2 Group 2 tournament. And talking about just building things, they had very good senior leadership in the springtime. Very happy with that, and that is occurring here. And John has been at coaching sports for a very long time, including 32 years as a basketball coach, including 25 here at Fort Lee, before leaving 6 years ago after the 2014 season to coach in his hometown of Emerson High School. He's going into his 6th year there, coaching the varsity boys basketball teams. Gonzalez, and just out of rhythm. No block went up for Mia Gonzalez, and a missed opportunity for Bergenfield. They got a good pass and set and everything. An ace for Fort Lee from Alexa Conti. Melendez, good pass to the front. Not to be played over Tania Thomas. Ryu, touch it over block. And Casal with her back to net, and she tried the deep corner, and it sailed. So 14-11, Bergenfield. They have led for much of this second set. And it'll be Isabella Melendez out of the deep corner off camera. And Melendez misses wide. Catherine Borisov. And I think Musev wanted to set Gonzalez. Instead, it came from the back row. But it'll be a point for Bergenfield anyway, with Casal trying to dump and only getting net. So Bergenfield back to Jalen Martinez. Both teams have remained in their 5-1 offenses. Bergenfield does have a 6-2 that Linda Chu has with her team just to switch to at times. There's Pagan with a nice swing coming from the 10-foot line. Gonzalez lefty swing out of system, and it falls out. So here is a good rotation for Fort Lee with Sophia Pagan in the front row. Perricone, and Perricone perhaps hearing the footsteps of the block, just didn't have her timing down, and a hitting error. 15-13. Here's the timeout for Linda Chu of Bergenfield. So back and forth in the second set. talking bigger picture about John Ziemba and everything that he has achieved. And like many times, especially back when he started coaching in the late 80s, early 90s, they initially needed a JV girls volleyball coach because he had known of the sport but just kind of messing around on the beach. And he was told the varsity coach would teach him. And then a few minutes later, the varsity coach had to resign. He learned on the spot, watched all summer, and he's been a very respected volleyball coach for a long time, in addition to perhaps being more well-known for his basketball achievements. John has over 400 wins in basketball. He's already been elected to the New Jersey State Coaches Hall of Fame. That's not just the Basketball Hall of Fame, that's overall between basketball and volleyball. Ryu. Gonzalez giving up a free ball. Chance for Fort Lee. Ryu, or rather, it just could be set across. Perricone could only tip over the top. We'll get a net violation against Fort Lee. So Bergenfield wins a long rally. So Mia Gonzalez. And as she angles it and drops in an ace. Five aces for Bergenfield. This time at Borisov, good pass to the front. However, not a great swing from Tori Goris. Could only free ball. That ball cross court, Taylor Liriano. So Bergenfield transitions a faster tempo. The lead 5. And now Gonzalez follows up with an ace, tying up Borisov. Pagan off hands of Perricone, and a much-needed kill. Fort Lee has not been able to set Sophia Pagan enough in this match. So now Fort Lee brings in junior Ailish Avazoglu to play front row. Well, she'll set and has more height for the block. Movement, though, prior to the serve for Bergenfield. So free point for Fort Lee. Melendez, good pass for Musab. The swing for Liriano. And Bergenfield inching closer to forcing a third set. And it'll be the sophomore middle, Maria Perricone. Conti shooting it over the top. Out of the middle, Thomas. Conti got hands on it. Museb, Liriano. Good rhythm, but Ryu was in her spot. Museb again for Liriano. And that is a net call. Liriano running into the net as the set was a little too tight for her. So Casal back on the floor. She'll set and serve. John Giamba saying she would be our MVP if the season ended today. Luciana stepping into big shoes to run the offense. So another, I think, early movement against Bergenfield. So these are just mental errors. 20-17. And Gonzalez did not have her platform underneath her. The 9th ace for Fort Lee. 3 straight for the Bridgemen. Timeout Bergenfield late in this second set. So 20-18 Bears after Fort Lee put together the late run to take the opening set 25-22. And Luciana Casal will still be on the service line for Fort Lee. And Casal commits the service error following the timeout. So 21-18. And Bergenfield will turn to their senior center, Ashley Museb, who's making her first career start today and has handled it well in place of Deanna Miano. But this is the error that keeps the momentum with Fort Lee. And now Nicole Coelho. Gonzalez got it to the front. Liriano, tough angle. There's Coelho. Hamilton. Ryu, decent rhythm, but could only tip. Liriano, better rhythm. Borisov only got a hand on it. Taylor Liriano has had her best swings of the afternoon in this second set. LeCap. Gonzalez, too hot to handle for Borisov. Well, the physicality from Mia Gonzalez and the Bears inching closer to forcing their first 3-setter of the season. Coelho perfect for Casal. Conti tipping, and that ends the Bears' run at 2 straight. So 23-20, and it'll be Alexa Conti on the service line. Nice service. Melendez bent down and got it. As it came over, Casal did not play it. No one communicated for the Bridgemen, and it is set point in the second. But how about the ball up from Bella Melendez? Melendez. And she will finish the second set with an ace. 7 aces for Bergenfield through 2. The Bears will play their first 3-setter of the season. They take the second set 25-20. So we'll continue here from Fort Lee High School. Bergenfield creating some early separation. And then the combination of Mia Gonzalez and Taylor Liriano through the duration of the second set, carrying the Bears to that set win. And they handled serve-receive a little bit better than they did in the first set, as Ashley Museb gets a little bit more comfortable. So little separating these two sides. And for the second straight meeting, the two will play a third set. Again, referencing the April 1st meeting. Granted, the personnel is vastly different, but just an example, the third set in April went 25-23 Bergenfield, or rather 25-23 Fort Lee. Fort Lee after this, they will play 3 straight road matches, including a non-leaguer at DePaul. September 29th, they'll be at Dumont, which is in league. And Dumont struggling just 1-5. And then a matchup against Pascack Hills on the road. And it's a team Coach John Giember referenced that we are to the point where we should be believing that we can compete with those kinds of teams as kind of a statement victory to be able to go out and show that they can win matches against quality teams aside from the big North American. And then sometime at the end of October, senior outside hitter Anaya Jones is on track to return. She tore her ACL just at the start of March of 2021. She'd be a starting outside hitter, so missing 2 years of volleyball for Anaya Jones, and she is somebody that Fort Lee knows they can put her in on the outside and she could terminate. Got a chance to see Anaya Jones just in warm-ups, and while she's not in uniform, but just moving around, getting touches and supporting her teammates. And she is a club volleyball player. She has the winter season coming up too, to try to find a way to make it to a college program. Jones goes about 5'10" and 5'9" on the outside. And that would be a completely different dynamic for Fort Lee to add someone like her on the outside. Third set, Nicole Coelho. Musa back set and Melendez swinging. Double contact called against Luciana Casal. So Bergenfield 1-0. The other thing that changed in the second set, Bergenfield serving. But on cue, there's the error for Caitlin LeCap. But between LeCap and Jalen Martinez, as the two serving specialists, I think Bergenfield is happy with what they've gotten there. And there's a return service error. The fourth for Fort Lee coming on the swing from Conti. And Melendez, nice, short, hard service. And Melendez likes to line up, you notice, from a very deep corner. She is at the very edge and then steps inside. But this one, she tried to be a little too cute with it and went down the line. So the ball actually went out of the gym. They'll need to get a new volleyball because it went into a puddle from the rain that we had last night. So John Giamba, he's going to grab a towel. And Catherine Borisov, she's going to make sure that the bottom of her sneakers aren't wet either. Meanwhile, it's 3-2 Bergenfield in this third set. Hamilton, nice swing. Handled well by Borisov. And the free ball by Ryu catches the ceiling, and it's an automatic Bergenfield point. Pagan, free ball. Gonzalez, good rhythm. Coelho with the big time up. Out of the middle, Perricone, and swung a little bit from the high three-quarter and could not snap the wrist. 4-3 in the early going. Perricone, as she tipped over the block. Goris played over. Gonzalez, that ball upped by Ryu. Gonzalez again, this time a block coming. And she'll get credit for the kill. Well, Fort Lee is trying to get the block outside on Sophia Pagan, but Pagan not able to close down that block at all. It's just too far off. Perricone had the swing. A joust that Pagan wins. So back to a 1-point third set. Nucherwani. Conti, that was played in the deep corner by Melendez. Liriano tipping over, and it'll work out for Bergenfield. So the Bears at 6-4. Now Liriano in rhythm. Better swing. It just missed, but that's a pretty good miss for Bergenfield. In system and forcing the defense to get stretched if they get any more like that. So Luciana Casale. As she drives Gonzalez deep. Fine ace for Luciana. 10th ace for Fort Lee. Gonzalez this time bends and passes the test. However, the ball out for Liriano, just a touch low for her. So consecutive aces, and Fort Lee back in front in this third set. And that's a pretty good miss, though, for Casale as she drove it down the line. Museb giving the ball back with the error. Coelho, good serve that Melendez, a rare overpass for her. However, Borisov did well with it and comes up with a kill. So the adjustment for Catherine Borisov puts Fort Lee by 2. Again, Borisov, she began the season on the outside, but being a lefty on the right side, and John Ziemba has big hopes for her. He had her in grammar school since kindergarten, in gym class. Conti jousting against Thomas. And no one went after the first ball, and Fort Lee did not communicate. Conti, this time better set in the middle. And Gonzalez, a rare hitting error from Mia, and she is frustrated. That was an opportunity with no block going up. And Gonzalez got it. Just kind of an innocent standing swing. But she handles the out-of-system ball. And back and forth we go in the third set. So very little has separated these two teams with any consistency. Largest lead was in the very early going for either side. That was for Fort Lee at 8-2 in the opening set, just as Bergenfield basically got off the bus. And getting here later than they expected as Melendez dials up another ace. Coelho, that was a pretty good pass, but unable to range over there was Casali. So Melendez to continue the run with Bergenfield nudging in front. And that service is another ace. So Bella Melendez, 10 aces for Bergenfield. Timeout here for John Ziemba. And he's trying to fix serve receive right now. So Bergenfield by 2. And Bella Melendez, you could just see that she has the volleyball instincts. And Linda Chu asking her to kind of play her area. At times, the very good liberos at the high school level, they want to play every ball. And at times that can cause a little bit too much chaos because of their range when you have 5 other players. And eventually Bella Melendez, to get the sense, will start to use her voice a lot more on the floor and really take command of her team, particularly in the back row, but all over the floor in serve receive. 12-10 Bergenfield, third set. Melendez, Nucharwani, it's an overpass, and again, it's another ace. And Bella Melendez, generally everything has been the hard stuff. Haven't seen the float serve yet from her. This one, a good line drive. This time, Nucharwani, perfect. Pagan swinging on the second ball will get the kill. So that gets Melendez off the service line. The set within reach for Fort Lee. And Bergenfield still, I think, will have a chance to get Melendez onto the service line again before the third set is over. Gonzalez, Nucharwani, and it landed out. Kill for Mia Gonzalez. Now Jalen Martinez and Nucharwani, perfect for Casal, but Fort Lee does not get a good swing on it. Gonzalez around the block. Well, Fort Lee has not been able to slow Gonzalez down with the block. Pagan was trying to take away cross court and was just not able to time up the liftoff from Gonzalez. And that'll be an ace now for Bergenfield, and the Bears opening up the 5-point lead, largest of this third set. Ryu, that's out. John Ziemba is going to spend a timeout here. This is his second and final timeout of the third set before it gets away from Fort Lee. So the 6-3 Bridgemen took the opening set. Bergenfield with good serving, and then swings from Mia Gonzalez and Taylor Liriano took the second set by a score of 25-20. And Bergenfield serving between Jalen Martinez and Bella Melendez has been the larger theme here. And I think Bergenfield's serve-receive has just been better since the first set. Jalen Martinez. Ryu. Gonzalez. Good takeoff. Murtaugh. Kathleen Murtaugh with a good pass to the front. Perricone. Perricone again out of system. This one comes back across to the Fort Lee side. Musab and Perricone aggressive here in this rally. And Musab for Gonzalez. And Gonzalez tried a roll shot deep corner and it missed. So Fort Lee wins that long point. Casey Ryu, a 6-rotation hitter for the Bridgemen, had 7 kills in the victory against Mahwah in early September. And that is a simple roll shot from Musab. Nucharwani, and her ball lands out and off tape. So Mia Gonzalez trying to put on some finishing touches. Bergenfield is extended to 7. And what a satisfying victory this could be for Linda Chu and Bergenfield. But there is still work to be done following the error. And Nucharwani, as she targeted Bergenfield and comes up with an ace of her own. That's now 12 on both sides as she targeted Jalen Martinez. And this one, Nuchirwani got away from her. So Maria Perico. Nice serve. Overpass for Nuchirwani. Set came from Eva Zoglu. Eva Zoglu in the joust with Thomas, and Thomas wins. And Thomas, who goes 5'10", just able to tip over Ellis Eva Zoglu. Nice serve for Bergenfield. They get an overpass. Out to Liriano, and the kill. And Bergenfield nearing the finish line. The Bears, after their bus arrived very late for a 4:15 match, they did not arrive until 4:35. Conti. Liriano again. And that's a cross-court shot that goes. Back-to-back kills for Taylor Liriano. She was significant in the second set consistently. Haven't heard much from her in the third until now. But as Bergenfield got here at 4:35 without their starting setter, Deanna Miano, who is at home sick, in steps Ashley Museb as Ryu comes up with a kill, 23-15. And Linda Chu certainly had cause for concern. But Museb has not appeared to be rattled, and she's run the offense the whole way. They did not have to sub her out. And then Bergenfield shook off an opening set loss. Liriano down the line, this one over from Borisov. Liriano shooting it over. Touched over by Casal. Goris can only set shot over. Liriano a little bit better rhythm. Museb, Thomas out of the middle. Off hands and the kill. Good decision from Ashley Museb, calling the number for Tania Thomas, and it is match point for the Bears. So Bergenfield, after their long afternoon to get here, and this may be a victory that Linda Chu and the team really savors. Free ball for Bergenfield. Liriano, that's it. Apropos for Bergenfield that senior Taylor Liriano finishes off this satisfying road win in 3. Bergenfield taking the third set 25-15 after dropping the first. So the Bears with back-to-back wins, their victory yesterday against Teaneck, they move to 4-3 on the season. They win this out-of-league game. And perhaps a really big character test for the Bears that went to their number 2 setter and shook off that opening set loss. Fort Lee falls to 6-4 on the season in this non-leaguer. Again, they'll be back here at home coming up on October 6th against a top 5 team in the state, according to the preseason rankings, Tenafly. And then back at home October 11th and 13th against Cliffside Park, a league game, and a non-leaguer against Ramsey October 13th. Bergenfield, the victory. They are 4-3, and a nice momentum win ahead of their very difficult 4-game stretch against Old Tapan, Paramus Catholic, Northern Valley Demarest, who is preseason number 10 in the state, and then at that Tenafly team that is the preseason 4 team in the state. A 3-set victory for Bergenfield today. That'll do it for our entire Fort Lee Athletics crew. For producer and director Dimitri Nanis, my name is Ralph Benorchik, saying so long and goodbye, and thank you for watching Fort Lee Athletics on the Fort Lee Athletics channel.